We are doing chapter 1, exercise 2, the base plate now. Again, this is in inches, so we're going to come over to our new drawing. We're going to select the arrow. We're going to make sure that the imperial drawing template is used. So I'm going to left click on that, so it'll come in and open this drawing up. So it'll get us started. So again, the same thing. We will get into a routine as we start up on each of these drawings. So we'll go in, we'll create our units. In the full version of AutoCAD, we'll set limits. We'll kind of take care of some of the settings that we need to, and we'll create layer properties. We'll get all of that done at the very beginning to get us started. So again, now that I'm in here, my cursor is in the drawing area. I'm going to type in units, hit enter to bring up our settings page. I'm going to change that from architectural units to decimal units, and from a 4-place decimal to a 3-place decimal here. So object snaps, I've got endpoint and center, which is probably fine for right now in terms of our base plate. So we probably won't need any others besides that. I can turn on polar tracking if I want. It's set to 90 degrees. And if you take a look at our drawing, that's probably pretty good. So we've got the, we've got on the outside of the part, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines that we have to draw. 4 of those lines are parallel and perpendicular to each other, basically horizontal and vertical. Then we have 3 circles that we're drawing in the center of that to make sure. So that polar tracking at 90 degrees is probably fine. Preferences, again, you can set the light preference or dark preference just to kind of see however you prefer to look at it. I prefer to work right now with the ribbon on, so that means this line or tool ribbon up here, and that's going to more closely mimic what we would see in the full version of AutoCAD in the lab at Richland. So keep it that way, and we'll go ahead and click done. So that's what we've got. Now, our very first thing to do is to kind of take a look at this drawing and see where our coordinates are all coming from and try to determine a 0, 0 for this part. And in this case, that 0, 0 is in the lower left-hand corner. What I would say and classify as the lower left-hand corner of this part. So I'm going to start there with my line, and then we are going to kind of work around to the right of that, kind of go around clockwise on the outside, and then we'll go around counterclockwise to get these lines on. You'll see what I mean in just a second. So when I click my line tool, so I left click that, comes down here to say specify the first point. We're going to say 0, 0. Notice I'm typing that in, 0, 0, and I'm going to hit enter. Again, that keying sequence where I have to physically type 0, 0 is different from the full version of AutoCAD where we would go 0, tab 0, enter. So just be aware of some of the differences between using these two versions. Once you kind of catch on to both of them, it'll be pretty easy and you'll be a champ at drawing on all of these. Now notice the line length I come across right now it wants to place is 1,550 inches long. So obviously we're zoomed way out. So I'm going to bring the pan over to that, and then you can zoom in. So zoom in, kind of pan that back in the center. Notice wherever you put your cursor, that's going to give you the ability to pan closer and closer. So now I'm a lot closer to what I want my actual line length to be. And as I look on that print, you see I'm going to go to the right horizontally. That's going to be at 0 degrees, and the line length here should be 5.5 inches. So I'll go 5.5, tab 0, enter. Notice how close it was, so I can zoom in a little bit more. And now my next line, as I go up, it says that's going to be 2 inches. So I'll type in 2, tab 90, enter to place that. Now the next point, if I were to keep going around counterclockwise to do these outside edges apart, we would basically need to know what that angle is, but the geometry on the print doesn't really give us that. We could sit there and use trigonometry and calculate it out, but there's no need. AutoCAD kind of takes care of a lot of this for us. So I'm going to exit out of that draw command right there. So I just right clicked and entered to get out of that. I'm going to come back to my origin because I see that there's an easier way for me to do this. So come back now to the line drawing tool. My object snaps are on, and remember I've got the center and the endpoint on. So since I've got my object snaps on, it picks up on that endpoint at 0, 0. So I can use that to specify the first point. Of course, you could also enter 0, 0 and hit enter too. So either way, so I'm going to cursor over that, left click to place that first part. Notice where I'm at here now. I need to go 4, tab, this is going to be 90 degrees, enter, and now my next line up here it's spelled out, so the line length here is going to be 4.25, tab, this is going to be 0 degrees because I'm going to the right. If I were going to the left of that point, it'd be 180 degrees, but since I'm going to the right of that point, it's going to be 0, and again I'll click left click to place that. I'm almost done here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Notice now I can place, just click on that to place it, right click confirm to get out of that screen. So I've got the outside edges. Now I just need to kind of come in and create some circles. So use my circle tool up here. Notice I get different features. I can do what's called a 3-point or a circle, a 2-point circle. We'll show what some of those are for here soon. And then I can get a tan radius. So we'll get into chapter 2 and chapter 3 to get into more of those. Right now, I just need to put the center point. It's either going to create the circle based on a radius or a diameter. And in this case, I've got to physically tell what the coordinate, the x and y coordinate is. So that very first circle, as we look from the 0, 0 over, is the x coordinate is at 1. So I'm going to type in 1, comma, and my y coordinate for the center, that's going to be 2.5. And then I'll click enter. Now, in this case, this is a radius, and it's showing me the radius, but I'm given a diameter there. So I'm going to go D, enter for the diameter, and then I'm going to say it's a 1-inch diameter, and type in 1 and hit enter. There we go. I've got that in there. It is very important to understand and look at that drawing to see the dimensions. That was 1 inch. That dimension is shown up here. So 1 inch over in the X, and it was 4 inches, or positive 4, over in the Y. That was the center. So now you kind of take a look at that, and let's see if you can figure out what the center of the circle over here is based on the drawing given to us in exercise 2. Well, as I look at it, my X here, so let's go ahead and go up to our circle drawing tool. My X is going to be at 3. I'm going to place my comma. My Y is at 1.5. So the positional coordinate of the center of this circle is at X of 3, Y of 1.5. And I'll hit enter. Again, I've got the same thing here. So a radius or diameter. Well, I'm given the diameter again. So I'm going to go D, enter, and this is a 1-inch diameter. So that takes care of that. I've got one more circle to do. Now I can go back up here to my circle tool, or if I don't want to do that move, I can be right click, repeat last command. So it's going to go back into the circle. Now again, because I have my object snaps on, right here, I'll object snap on the center of that. And again, in this case, I'll D for diameter, and this is going to be 2-inch. So this is a 2-inch diameter. So, and hit enter. So 2-inch, enter. I've got that diameter there. The base plate is now completely drawn, and I'm finished. I just need to kind of come back in and save this. So let's go right up here to save as. Again, my suggestion here to you is to save and save often. So, all right, this is going to be base plate, BASE, capital PLAT, hyphen your first initial, your last name. So hit save. We will wait for it to finish saving. Once it tells us it's fully saved up here, uh, then we can come right back over to the main web page. So bring that. So again, you'll have to click on the box that's next to all of your drawings here and click download to get those to download that to your flash drive. To you can download it to the desktop on your machine that you're working on, or to the my documents in there. So download that there, and then of course upload that back into Canvas so you have your file.